Before we get too far into our Course 1 Training Hub, I wanted to talk about a new feature that just came out recently and updates the content in our Training Hub. And it is a new exciting feature called Unlimited Multiple Events within your admin account. So I'm on my landing page here for my event admin, spend a lot of time on this page looking at information, and I have a new link toward the bottom here called Organization. Every organization that signs up with ClickBid will now have its own separate organization account. From that account, you can create as many events as you want. And in this case, I have 2 events running in ClickBid. The difference from the past is that you can run simultaneous events. So for instance, this event was set up and it's going to run for 6 months. This event is going to be just a specific spring fling event. I can control all of that by looking here at these 2 events. I can filter showing active, inactive, or all events. I can choose a date range just to kind of keep this organized. Our hope is that you add as many events as you want to your account and you can see them all and filter them all. To add a new event, you just go ahead and press Add Event. We pop open a simple box here. You can put in an event keyword, an event name, an event starting date, and an event closing date. This is when your event plans to start, and this is when the last item will actually close. What I typically do is choose the day that I plan to open my auction, if it's maybe a week early or a couple of days early, and then the day that the actual event occurs, my in-person event, is the event closing date. This also happens to be the closing date. This is the event on-call date that our staff will use to answer your questions during your event. So this event date is pretty important. Don't worry if you need to change it. You can submit a support request and have that date changed at any time. So I'm just going to go ahead and choose an event keyword, new multi-admin event. And I'm going to call it multi-admin event. And then I'm going to choose next. And now I can put in some information below. I want to make, let's say, Matt Burnell, 1, 2, 3. And I'm just going to put in some information here. And I can choose next. Do you want to copy data from an existing event? This is a really new and exciting feature. If I have an event that I've started and I want to copy all that data over, I can choose Fall Fling, and I'm going to copy my bidders, items, landing page settings, merchant account, and any custom style sheets that I've added. Choose Next. It gives me a summary. If I need to go back and change it, I can, and then I can choose Save. And that is all I need to do. You'll see here that it's created. My event date is February 14th, and I can go to that events admin anytime I want. And you can see here now I've got a brand new event. This is actually how you will create any additional event. After you've created your first event, I'll go back to my organization, you can just go ahead and add a second, third, fourth event. So let's say you want to do a second chance auction, or you want to do a second event in the summer, but you want to use the same details. Like I clicked here, I put in the information, and then I actually chose to copy data from one event to the next. And that is a much easier way to get that data into a secondary event while keeping the data from your first event untouched. And that's an important point to make in our new multiple event admin. Archiving is really a thing of the past. I don't need to go into my event, and there used to be a software settings data management page where I could archive and start a second event. That no longer happens. Instead, I go down to my organization record and I can go ahead and add another event. Very simple, easy to do. And then another thing too is the user account. You'll remember, and you'll learn a little bit about this further on in the Training Hub if this is your first time using. If you go to users, I can have as many users as I want in my account. And I'm just going to go to test user, and you can see here that this test user can have all kinds of permissions. Let's say this test user is going to be able to use the Butler tool when we go to the actual event on that Saturday night that's upcoming. All I want them to be able to do is check in and check out bidders using the Butler tool. So I'll just go ahead and check the Butler tool, And now that's all they have access to. Well, actually, they can look at the Training Hub permissions. I can also set permissions on the organization level. So this user has access to this event. A little tip here is that this is the blue banner. Anytime you see a blue banner, you're editing a specific event. I can also have users at the organization level. So let's go back up to the organization. I now have a green banner, so that is definitely me in the org area. I can then also go to users, and I can choose a user, the test user at ClickBit Online, and I have organization permissions now, this top section. This is only available if the person who's logged in, which is me right now here, has access to this in the first place. I may only want test user to have access to a specific event. So Fall Fling Gala, for instance. I don't want that person to have access to anything except Butler in the Fall Fling Gala. So I can go ahead and choose that event, leave all of these unchecked, and they'll never be able to see this org admin. When they log in, they'll immediately go to the Butler, to the admin where they can choose the Butler settings, and that's it. They won't be able to choose anything else. Well, in this case, the Training Hub, and they can request support. I can make a different setting for, if I go to Matthew Burnell, I can say, hey, this person has all organization permissions. Or they can view the recurring donors, they can update the account and users, but I don't want them to create, delete, remove users, archive events, and make payments. I only want them to be able to update the account and change users and only manage recurring donors. So when Matthew Burnell logs in, he'll have access to this information. So this is how I would manage my users at the organization level. Let's say you're a nonprofit that plans to do 4 events, and you, who might be the person who bought the software, you may not be the one to keep using it day to day. So you're going to go ahead and create a new user, and you're going to call it day to day and D2D at clickbitonline.com. And I'm going to create that user, and then they'll send an email to them so that they can create a password. But while they're getting that all set up, I want them to have full access, and I'm going to give them full access to everything here. And this will be the first event they have access to. And now, if they create multiple events, they'll get full access to all of them because we'll take the permissions from the previous event and apply it forward. So now, when that person logs in, when day to day logs into their admin account, they'll be able to see all of this information. They'll be able to make those changes. If you ever decide to change or remove that user, you as the original account holder can come in and remove them if you wish. So there you go. Very simple stuff. And if you want to, again, look at your events, you can take a look here at all those events. I'm going to go back into Fall Fling Gala. And this is where the rest of our tutorial, our multiple admin tutorial, will take over in the Training Hub. If you have any questions, please don't hesitate to let us know. We're always happy to help, and have a wonderful and great event.